where we're coming full circle because we've had to experience all parts of our creation, both negative and positive. We have to experience the way our psyche creates creation in the subconscious levels and the conscious levels. We create our own antiverses as well as our own verses. We create, period. So the more we understand really how our psyche works in all those levels of the subconscious and the conscious, and all of the, you know, deeply layered personalities associated with all of that, the more that we can comprehend how we create.
We're all magicians.
All of us, yes.
The word magic is in electromagnetic for a reason, because if you carry an electromagnetic frequency, you are a magician. So you just have to choose what kind of magic you create in this experience, and whether it's going to benefit you and others. And
vegetables have electromagnetism, and they're magicians too. In their own right. We are magic. We're
all magic. So it's just, how are you going to play out your influence within this experience, working on a celestial calendar cycle?
Mm-hmm. And we're also working within that. We're working because there's certain responsibilities given, and kings are created like queens are created, but there's one who has the authorship, who has the authority over this all. And she is the one that is the authority over them all. Period.
That's right, because she's the authority over her own creation.
We've yet to see some incredibly important markers that have not happened yet. I have a lot to reveal still. It's all within the divine timing and the spiritual release.
Yeah.
Because it is an unlocking in and of itself. And as that happens, and as this is all literally creating the new verse inside people. Literally, this is activating and altering their DNA. The change has already begun. So people are dying, literally dying to their old selves, including their life that they had been creating subconsciously. They're experiencing a death of themselves. They're in their own halls of Amenti, inside the sarcophagi of what they created. And their cells are regenerating their true form. And this is where we're going. And this is a part of the splitting of the two cells of the verse to the antiverse. It's all a part of the death of the illusion, the dissolution of illusions, and the rebirth of the new sun, of the new suns, because it's going to be multiple suns. It's a new verse. And this is why we're being rebirthed. Yeah. A lot of people get caught up in catastrophizing because we live in such stressful day-to-day lives, and really what's happening in the dissolution of illusions is that physics and all the old ancient laws that used to be in effect here are no longer in existence. I mean, everything is unstable right now. Literally, physics are completely unstable. Nothing is stable here. The magnetosphere is like pummeled with holes, and it's cracking all over the place. This is a lot of going on here. The core of the earth is reversing. I can go on and on, but so people can get caught up in the actual fear of all of these specific things that occur, but the reality is, once you start doing the inner work and you don't want to be in denial, and you really, and this means you have to look at your darkness, you have to look at your shadow, you have to look at all the things, all the crutches that you know, all the, oh, but you know, it's easier if I do it like this. Every little crutch that we give ourselves in life so that we don't have to do the work is a part of the denial, is a part of literally shutting yourself off of you.
And clinging to the material world. Because
well, clinging to clinging to dependencies, clinging to, you know, anything that means that you're not doing your own work to be completely responsible with whatever your capacity is. I mean, this is you making choices every day to the best of your ability, because let's face it, okay? Yeah, death is an illusion. Really, technically speaking, it doesn't exist. But the thing is, it does exist in the inversion because, well, you know, people accept it. And what's hijacked the inversion is like basically cracked onto the DNA and the neural pathways of the psyche here. And so it becomes a thing now. And that means that people die. People get sick because of the imbalance of integrating what they are in spirit.
The dream feels very real.
But the dream is,
That's why people are so attached to the
it's
flesh.
like the Matrix. It's like the Matrix when the guy's eating steak, right? Of course it feels real. Guy's like, this feels real. It tastes like a steak. Like it's delicious. I'm gonna continue. And of course it feels real because we created it. It's our own created experience of our own matter. Because we are getting to the place where we are creating our own true matter that is a more absolute organic reflection of the original. Right now we're just in the inversion version. So, you know, but how to get out of the fear? How?
By facing it.
By facing it, exactly. How to
That's
move?
our help.
Well, yeah, well, you have to face it. But the thing is, what does that mean? It means something different for everybody, right? And it means not denying whatever it is you're terrified of. I always said, if there's something that really scares you, that's the thing you got to do. Sorry, but that's the way it works. So, you know, getting on a plane, being terrified. You know, I was on a plane that the engine exploded. The planes have two engines. So the other engine, which is the only engine that was left, like the whole plane was shorting out. Why? Because that other engine was shorting out. We didn't have any engines going. We were going down. And like literally, it was a miracle that we did not crash. At the very last second, the plane just, as it was going down, it got very close to the earth. It just like glided. It dipped and glided. And we ended up smashing on the bottom of the plane, which did damage to the plane. Sure, like there were no wheels in a flight from, like it was in Ontario to Quebec.
Do you remember the airline name?
Oh, it was Air Canada.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there'll be a record of that.
Oh, there is. I mean, like, of course there would be a record because it was an exploded plane.
Do you remember how old you were when that was?
Yeah, I was young. I was maybe like 20, 22. Yeah. When that happened, we crash landed basically in a farmer's field, which we were really, really lucky to even have, because if we would have been in a mountain range, forget it. The last minute, at the very last few seconds, really, the second engine that wasn't burning came back on. That's what allowed the plane to then glide just as we were like gonna smash. And that's what saved us. So it was like pretty miraculous. Everybody was so traumatized. Nobody wanted to ever get back on a plane. And they were completely mortified. And the one man and I, he was a businessman, we were the only ones that decided that we had to, because if we weren't going to confront this fear, it was going to rule us. And if it was going to rule us, we wouldn't be able to go where we needed to. We wouldn't, it would, you know, this is not, so we got back on the plane. So it was just the businessman and I that got back on the plane because they had sent a plane out to us. And we figured out that because we could have potentially been, because we were so traumatized, literally to get back on a plane after that experience, that's insane too, okay? But we felt we had to because it was a radical acceptance thing. And we had to radically accept our terror and overcome it. And that's the only way we could figure out to do it, because we were that traumatized. And we did. We got on a plane and flew out of there to our destination. Everybody else remained in the farm and waited for a bus, right, to pick them up. And this is how it works in life. If you do not confront your terror and your fears and everything that's holding you back, That is what will control you.
You'll be a
And
slave to it.
that fear will be a self-fulfilling prophecy, period. Because you are creating it through your subconscious. The psyche is creating that very thing. And you're not manifesting anything different. You're not confronting it. You're not altering time and space in your own verse. We are all suns. We're all cosmically going to become a supernova within ourselves of what we really are. That's what we're heading towards. Then ultimately, there is and there has to be a peace within yourself of this process, because we all ascribe to this and to the experience of the journey of getting there. So there is no death. Energy can't die. So that peace has to be within you. And it has to be something that you remind yourself of all the time, no matter how strange things become or how odd. There is a new phenomenon of stress that has, it has become the norm now. Whereas in the past, or even in the 70s, people never talked about stress per se. People just laughed more. Okay. Yeah, they had a lot of problems. Vietnam, they had all of that stuff, but there was a lot more community back then. And this is part of the problem. There's less community now, and there's a lot more isolation. So we have to find a way back to one another, and we have to find a way back to one another so that we can laugh together more. And we can just enjoy the moment you're creating in the now. If you do what you need to in the moment, you will be where you need to be, always.
Wow. Wow.
Heard that.
Yeah.
And that's how we're.
If you're talking about that, there's the interfering element.
Yep.
And that's what's here. Okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah. No, don't worry. We're surrounded by synchronicity.
Mm-hmm.
And synchronicity has surrounded a lot of the discoveries.
Yeah.
And I just want to make this very clear. I don't operate as a medium in the sense that communing with spirits and guides and all that stuff. I don't do that. No doubt about it. I've received inspirations, synchronicity, which has guided me to certain things. I'll just be somewhere and I'll hear a song on the radio, and then that will be like, giving me a ping, like that's related to another piece of the work that just things like that. I'll just click on an article, and there was an example on I was reading about Elton John's series of concerts in Canada. He's doing some farewell concerts, and then it starts talking about one of his tracks, Benny and the Jets. And I'm like, Benny and the Jets? That sounds like what I was talking about with the whole sharks and the jets. And then how I associated Ben, Big Ben, with Saturn. I'm like, Benny and the Jets. So why don't I just read the lyrics of that? Read the lyrics, and it's all about the collision. Ben, Saturn, the Jets, Jupiter.
Yeah. Yep.
Read the lyrics to that track, and this is like I said.
And then Donnie Darko and that jet. That came in the Donnie Darko when you said watch it again. I watched it, and then that jet engine fell literally on.
Yeah, and why was it a jet that crashed into the Twin Towers? So yeah, anyone who's wanting to doubt the information, that's a solid decode. That's solid intel.
Yeah.
The West Side Story, the sharks are representing the Saturn bodies, and the jets represent the Jupiter bodies that are going to collide one another. You can take that to the bank. This is happening, and Generation Z right now. So have a think about that. Anyway,
and it goes way beyond everything being plasma, because of course everything's plasma. That's how electromagnetism travels through plasma. It's way beyond that.
Yeah. People are all, giving their input in different ways, and it's not an accident. And look, I applaud anybody that is raising awareness regarding these events. I'll give props, to anyone doing that. It's just too bad that we've come out with some really potent information and that's just being buried. But that it is what it is, and there's no accidents here either. I'm looking at my own individual path and my part in it, and really that's the only thing I have control over is my own choices. Just as you only have control over your own choices. I don't want to control anyone else. You know,
No.
people can do what's in their hearts.
And eventually it would be good. I mean, I would love, really, my heart's desire is to go to places where they don't have internet and talk to the people. You know?
And provide some wisdom keys. Yeah.
Because they, you know, there's a lot of people who don't have internet, and, you know, my heart grieves because, you know, there has to be a platform for them to have the information as well. And I hope that that happens.
Yeah.
With the help of everybody, you know, joining forces and helping to create that, and creating an avenue for that to happen. Yeah. We have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do.
Well, it's too bad that the community isn't working together. But look, I've got I realize that there's certain channels out there, you know, known as shield channels, and look, they're doing their job, directed not to do certain things or to be silent about certain information. So I have more respect for them than the ones who don't, that are, you know, aren't part of that and yet are still suppressing information that they know is super potent and they know in their hearts is true.
When you are in the place of your heart and you're doing the work and you're not in denial and you're willing to confront the darkest of the dark that you have within you, then you are in the right place. So take peace and do not worry so much about the future. Do not worry about all of these events. They're going to happen anyway. So if you're in the right place now, don't worry, you'll be in the right place then.
Well, you gotta take even stress in its stages. You know, you gotta deal with the stresses of the moment.
Be in the now.
Yeah.
Just focus on the now. Do what you need to now. If your spirit says, do da da da, do it. Don't put it off. Live in the now. Let's all try and find a way to get together and commune a little more and laugh together and enjoy good food together and enjoy the beautiful things that we have here. Our pets, our animals, wildlife, fauna, like there's just so much, much beauty. So we're going to be focusing on that probably on the next one. I will be doing one separately on twin flames, actually, with regards to that whole dynamic and the dynamic of the demiurge, masculine phallus trying to literally subvert and destroy the feminine. So like we're going to go into all of that happy stuff, and hence, you know, the distortion of the twin flames and all of that. But so for everyone, thank you. It's good to be back, and I am booking, so email me at sovereignkeys@gmail.com or metakiqinetics, and we wish you a magnificent day and a magnificent evening wherever you are in the world.